This is live from Broadcast Square, a public affairs presentation of Seward County Broadcasting and Talk Radio 1270. Your phone calls concerning today's show are appreciated. Now, live from Broadcast Square.
And good morning. Welcome to Live from Broadcast Square, Talk Radio 1270 on this Tuesday morning, 15th day of October. In the studios with us this morning from TCEC, we do have Julianne Graham. Good morning. And we also have Kyle Weber. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
First time on the radio?
Well, besides
during an interview show.
Yeah. So. We did some commentating on some games, but.
All right. TCEC, of course, a regular guest here on Live from Broadcast Square, but we're going to take a little bit different approach with this today. Kyle Weber recently came back from Guatemala. We're first going to talk a little bit about the process. Kyle, as this has become this possibility of this trip becomes available, what were you thinking when you decided, I think that's something I want to do? You have a wife and kids at home.
Right.
And now you're going to be traveling to a foreign country, not knowing a whole lot about that foreign country and the area or the region you'll be in. What was your thought process on applying for this?
So I was just approached by a couple of guys at work saying, hey, I think you'd be a good candidate for this. And so obviously the first thing I did was went back and talked to my wife, and we prayed about it and everything. And it was like kind of got to thinking and talking like it's a no-brainer. Like it's an opportunity to do something, to go help somebody, change other people's lives, and just by simply doing my job. So I decided to put in for it. I got the application, and there was 2 questions on there. It says, why do you want to do this, and what has the co-op done for you in your years of experience? So it was just a little paragraph, and so next thing I know, I have the whole page filled out. So I actually have to go and write, and after a couple pages of why I wanted to do this, I finally got it sent off to Oklahoma City and the Energy Trails Foundation.
All right. Let's just back up a little bit. This is the trip that is offered to co-ops. Is it just in the state of Oklahoma or all over the country?
So it's actually all over the country through the NRECA International, but we partner with Colorado through Energy Trails, a nonprofit organization, to help fund this, and they take the 8 guys from 10 guys from Oklahoma, and then 10 guys from Colorado, and that's what forms a team to go.
Now, this isn't a vacation trip, like you said, using the skills that you have learned as somebody with TCEC. So, what was the job at hand?
So yeah, it was by far not a vacation. You're going to a third world country. Yeah, it is beautiful. But the weather, the terrain, we didn't have bucket trucks or anything like this. Like we have here. A lot of manual labor. We climbed poles. Did everything off our hooks. No impacts, nothing. We tightened every bolt by hand and everything like that. So yeah, it was far from a vacation.
So providing electricity to a village that had never had any before.
Yeah, so we actually flew into Guatemala City, and it's about a 9.5 hour drive to the village of Sillab, where we electrified it. And it was kind of cool. When we got there, we actually drove through a village called Cheese, and they actually electrified that in 2017. Oklahoma and Colorado did that in 2017, so it was cool to see. It was actually pretty amazing to see all the kids, excuse me, and the parents going out to the road and cheering us on and screaming because they knew what those trucks meant that were going with packed full of stuff. And then when we did get to the village of Sillab, they had a big kickoff party for us and prayed for us and stuff like that. So it was an awesome experience just from the start of it.
So, was it what you expected? What were you thinking it was going to be like as you're making that trip, and then culminating on the trip home? Was it what you thought it would be?
So, we had a bunch of team buildings, and we got to talk to Anna Palantino about it, and she's just like, well, what you guys expect worse. And so I expected the worst, and actually it was even worse than what I thought. Just the living conditions, the places they lived in, we wouldn't even consider a garage or a shed here. I mean, it was pretty unbelievable experience. I mean, words and pictures don't describe what it was like over there. But the most unbelievable thing about the whole situation is just how happy those villagers were. I mean, they taught me a ton about myself. We have a lot over here, and we're not poor here, and yet we can be so unhappy here. But basically, where they live in poverty and everything, we didn't consider it poverty over there. It's just on how happy they are. So, I mean, it just taught I think, me and 19 other guys what happiness is and everything like that. It's definitely a choice.
Would you say a humbling experience?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely humbling experience. One of the fears I did have is coming back and being hard on my kids. So, my kids are strong-willed. But yeah, no, I think we've adapted well. It's like I said, it's a humbling experience for sure. I can't wait till both of my kids understand where I went and what I did while we were there, and so show them the pictures and where they can actually understand. So,
just like, let's just look at this morning. First thing we did was, somehow we woke up. There might have been a device of some kind that an alarm that went off.
Right.
Got up, and what do? We flipped on a light switch, taking that for granted. And then we went to the bathroom and turned on a shower, running water. None of that.
None of that there. It was, when we electrified the shacks, it was two light bulbs usually. Then we'd go to like their neighbor's house, which was a family member built right next door. We'd put 2 in there, so and that would be their 4 light bulbs, and then we'd put 1 outlet in each little shack. But no running water. And that was probably one of the most impactful moments. Was a little boy walking down the mountain 3/4 of a mile to collect water for his family. 7 years old. Mm-hmm. Can't imagine asking my kids to do that for my family. They should be kids. They shouldn't have to work. But I mean, that's just the way it is there. Hard work starts at a young age, and I think that's why that's how they're so hardworking and loving and everything like that.
With your years of experience with TCEC, were you? How do I want to say this? Were you trained for what you would see, or was there additional training that you had to go through just to maybe reacclimate yourself with the hooks and with the climbing the poles, things like that?
Yeah, we had some team buildings to lead up on that, and some little schooling to like how to rig stuff. But it did. It was challenging in that aspect because there's so many ways to do things, and especially off our hooks and all that through hand lines and stuff like that. That was actually one of the bigger challenges of how to hook things up to pull it up to the guys up on the pole and the right way and stuff like that to make it easier on them. So yeah, that was actually a really, really big challenge because it's something we don't do here every day. I mean, I don't remember the last time I pulled up a cross arm on a hand line. I mean, I've been in the industry for almost 13 years now, and I guarantee that was the most I've ever done it is over there.
So what was a typical day like there? What time did you get up, and then how'd the day progress while you're getting things ready?
We would actually get up. I set my alarm. I got up before my alarm every day. It gets light over there very, very early, so I'm like 5:30, 6 a.m. It's light out. It's like noon here, but no. It got right. So we'd get up, get dressed. We'd go down, and we had our own chef in our little training center there. Phenomenal food. He'd cook us breakfast. We'd have breakfast at 7 a.m. every day. Stay there for about probably 30 minutes, and we'd go back up to the training center and have kind of a big tailboard with everybody on what we're going to do for the day and stuff like that. And then we'd be out in the field. It was probably about a 15, 20-minute drive to where we were working. So we'd be out and on the poles probably 8:30, 8:15, and then they'd stop us for lunch, which we'd stop for lunch around 2:30, and then we'd come back in for lunch, and then that's where I think some of the linemen most of us got fresh. Like, oh, we're in the middle of this. Let's we don't need a lunch. Let's just keep going. But no, they said that we need to eat and stuff like that. They took really, really good care of us. And then we'd work till dark. We'd go back out. We'd take about a 15-minute break after lunch, lounge around, and then play with the kids mostly. Actually, to be honest with you, we'd play with the kids, and then we'd go back out and work till dark. It'd get dark about 6:30.
Okay. All right, and then we're talking when you say you drive the trucks to as close to the location as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
we're used here in Southwest Kansas in the Panhandles of being able to see for miles. You know,
Right.
pretty much flat road, well-maintained road.
Yeah.
And there you go. Not quite the case
No,
there.
no. We were in the mountains, jungle. Rained every day while we were there. Humid, but yeah, we were in the mountains, trees. You couldn't see. The only thing you could see is probably to the next pole to where they cut the Guatemalans had cut the right of ways, and the villages they cut the right of ways down and up the mountain, down the mountain. We'd yell at each other and just to see where the sounds was coming from because we couldn't see, but we thought it was pretty cool. We'd yell at each other on top of poles and stuff like that. But yeah, it was by far nowhere near the terrain or anything like the weather that we have here.
You know, you'd mentioned hauling water, different things like that, and now they have an outlet and 4 light bulbs in an area.
Yep.
And I think I remember Chris talking about this before you'd left that closest electricity was down the mountain somewhere, even to charge a cell phone.
Right.
You
So
know.
yeah, there was a little village down the mountain. It was probably about a 15-20 minute walk for them. It'd be probably about a 30-45 minute walk for me. But they have no shoes and they're walking down the mountain. But yeah, they had to go down there and this little what they can consider a convenience store. They could charge their phones, or if they had friends down there, they can charge their phones. But yeah, they would the convenience store would actually charge them to charge their phones. So I mean, it's just they did it. They did that probably about once a week. They charge their phone for about once a week. But now that's one of the rewarding parts. Now they don't have to do that. Now they don't have to be charged for walking down the mountain and charging their phone. They can do it inside their own house.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more from Kyle Weber and his experience in Guatemala. Stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to Live from Broadcast Square Talk Radio 1270, visiting with Kyle Weber. Mission of Light. I went to a Guatemalan village and for the first time brought electricity to that village. Now, as you've brought electricity to the village, sense of satisfaction for yourself, but a sense of, I'm sure, elation for the villagers. What is next for these villagers? I mean, will they have access to light bulbs when these?
Yeah.
Out,
So
things
yeah,
like
they
that?
will. So what's cool is we actually went and visited the village of Cheese that they electrified in 2017, just to see like where have they gone and what improvements. And what was really special was a guy that actually went and electrified, an electrician that was with us. He actually was there and electrified the village of Cheese in 2017. So it was pretty emotional for him. I mean, it is for everybody, obviously, but it really hit home for him. But yeah, it was like there was a little convenience store there, a place to where you can work on dirt bikes because they have tons of motorcycles and dirt bikes there. That's how they get around. And so yeah, they had a bunch of them had little deep freezes so that they could sell ice cream and stuff like that. And then so I just think it's going to help them. And I know that some of them already had little TVs set in their little shacks and ready to so that they can enjoy life a little bit. It's just so they don't just not working every day and cooking and cleaning and everything like that.
Now, is this mission something that is an ongoing mission through the NRECA? I mean, will another crew go in the future?
Yeah, so that was the last electrification there on that circuit per se in Guatemala, just because or in Sillab. Just the simple fact that it's just the load's getting too big over there. But man, the NRECA International, it's been around since 1942, I do believe. So they're very, very successful. Yeah, and then there's actually a crew over there now that we follow through the Energy Trails. That's from Iowa and Illinois. So yeah, it's just it's cool because it's the same guys showing them around. Eric Bonanza and Willie, they did a great job. They showed us around the country of Guatemala and everything. But yeah, it was they've been around a long time in NRECA International, and I do hope that that Colorado and Oklahoma continue to do stuff like this to give linemen opportunity.
You know, and I'm just going to bring this up. This is not just Kyle Weber that has gone over there. That's just not the other 19 members that went over. with you, you have brought your family, not physically,
Right.
but it takes a family in support of this mission to be that very active in your church, very active in the community. You even gave up some personal time where you could have made money officiating football games to do this. Huge sacrifice. 100% family support?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's the number one thing. That's the first person I want to talk to is my wife, because you have to have 100% support at home to do something like this, because it's the longest, like you said, that's the longest I've ever been away from my family. Been married for 13 years, so and have my kids. Longest time I've ever been away from them. That's why I was saying I hope that they understand what I did and all that stuff. And because there wasn't Wi-Fi there, we couldn't FaceTime. We couldn't, very minimal talk. I had to stand in one spot and talk, I kind of got frustrated a little bit because the kids they wanted to FaceTime and we couldn't FaceTime, but they don't want to talk on the phone. They just want to FaceTime, But yeah, all in all, I mean, yeah, it's 100% support. Not only from my family, like you said, it was 100% support from my church and Sunday school and just numerous friends, and then I want to thank everybody for that.
And of course, while you're away from the job, somebody has to fill into what you do on a daily basis
Right.
as well.
So yeah, and like I said, I mean, it tells you a lot about TCEC and what they do for their employees and everything like that, just to give a opportunity and to be a part of something as like the Energy Trails and the NRECA International is. It really tells you about what our company is about and everything like that. So,
as a young man, 13 years ago, freshly started with TCEC, is this something you ever dreamed that you'd be doing?
Yeah, so I start my presentations. I've never dreamt in my wildest dreams that I'd ever have even an opportunity to do something like this and to be a part of something so special and just to form bonds that we like in that fast of time with the 19 other guys that went, because we still talk. To this day we talk every single day, and we have a group and group message, and we still talk every single day. We were actually talking. They were giving me words of encouragement. I was telling them that we were going on the radio live. So hopefully they're listening. They said they were going to get on the website and listen. So if you guys are listening, thanks, guys.
Something you do again if opportunity arose.
Definitely. Yeah, they're so in 2020 they're already got the project site. It's in Bolivia, and this will be the second time that they been to Bolivia. Oklahoma actually went to Bolivia with Missouri for the first electrification ever that they were a part of. And yeah, I'd definitely do it. I don't know that it's something that I would do in 2020, but I would say in 2021, if they ever go back to Guatemala, then I would definitely be number one in line to want to go for sure.
You bet. And as we talk about the rough terrain, a mountainous region, living in minimalistic conditions, there are outside factors as well that come into play, and we don't want to go into detail, but from government officials to some of the seedier element, all of this has got to be, for your family, just a little bit of concern, because when was the last time you climbed a mountain?
Yeah.
And is Kyle going to be okay? And what's going to happen? Things like that.
Yeah, and that comes back to the 100% support at home. Whenever we started, we knew what we were getting into. We knew we were going to a third world country, and me and the 19 other guys, we knew what we were getting into. We don't speak the same language. We don't even know the laws on what to go, because the laws are completely different there. So I mean, there's always something in the back of your mind, but man, never once did we feel unsafe the NRECA and the Energy Trails, they took really, really good care of us with having each translator in a pickup with us as we traveled, and taking us to the to and from the places and where we stayed on the way out there was it was 100% safe, and never once did we feel unsafe.
We are just about out of time. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you would like to cover? Are there people you would like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to. I thank my family for sure, Sam and Keegan and Kendall, and then obviously the bots and everybody in our Sunday school class for the prayers. They everybody, they wrote me notes to day 1, day 2, read day 3, read day 4, all the way till day 21. So that helped motivate me, keep me in line and stuff like that. But yeah, just thank everybody. I'd like to thank Julianne and TCEC for being a part of this and for everything that they've done for the support of me and of doing this.
All right. Appreciate you coming in this morning. We'll be back with Radio Bay.
You've been listening to Live from Broadcast Square on Talk Radio 1270.